Sentimental and technical video for the QuasiDB service for the 15th of June 2021. We have FOMC tomorrow, so anything that happens today is going to be an anticipation for tomorrow. So all the data releases out today, it could well be overlooked for the the Fed speak tomorrow and the press conference. So all eyes on that tomorrow. It could be a bit of a sideways day potentially. I'm just going to go through some key levels for the pairs that we normally do. Start with gold because Marcus shared an implied volatility analysis for gold, and it looks like we're going to have a big mover tomorrow. We are a sell, and we have been for a while, admittedly, and the level of interest for me is this monthly pivot. I want that to break if I'm going to short this. And the level of interest there is 1861. We're only $4 away, and the SLC below is very far away at 1780, and one above is close at 1877. Now, the fact that the SLC below is so far, it tells me that they're risk averse and they are certain of price to go up. Hence, the reason why their stops are so wide. They're like accommodating a fact that it's going to fall, but they're so wide, it's going to it's going to find some support, which it could do on MS1, and then they think it's going to rally, and that's why they've got wide stops. However, it could just go down and probe their stops. But that's the thing about being risk averse and having very wide stops. You're opening yourself to gambling, essentially. The monthly pivot break is going to be very, very interesting for me, 1861, and it could set the precedence, well, it should set the precedence for the rest of the month. We've got a descending pitchfork as well. The harmonic is bullish, and that will invalidate if we break below 1831. And remember, Marco said 1840. There's a level of some demand potentially from this area. So it could be that this harmonic's going to hold. Just keep an eye on your monthly pivot, and we'll have to see what happens. And we are a sell as well. So I'm not going to talk too much about all the pairs and the reason for the movements. I should really just talk about where the SLCs are. This is one of our signals, and you can see how we've broken the pitchfork there. SLC is 85 from memory. Yeah, and the one below is far away and it's small, 83.90. AU, 78, it's miles away, and it's large as well. SLC below is 75.80. I just got the MyFX book line on there, so I'm just watching how accurate it is compared to the average. I think I've got a theory that these guys, they lead the average line, which seems to be the case. So I'm going to keep an eye on some of these pairs with just these two lines, and I'll report back on my findings. That I have a theory that my FX book go one way, and for some reason the rest, they tend to follow. It's really bizarre. But anyway, there's your levels. EA just posted this in the technical area. This is going to help these two. AJ and AU, it's 1577, and one below is 15650. We are a buy, and it's sideways. However, my FX book are selling it, and it's coming down. So it tells me that these guys are making a little bit of profit there, 23 pip profit. So it's interesting. I'll keep an eye on this orange line, which is the MyFX book data, which is what our spreadsheet uses. And we'll have to see how if it forecasts the moves in advance. If it does, and my theory is correct, it could be quite interesting. EU sideways. The SLC is close at 12130 and 12090. This is one of our signals. However, technically it's quite fairly bearish. We've got monthly pivot, descending pitchfork, and a bearish harmonic. However, we have flipped over to buy, so that's interesting. Sideways, like I say. We are a sell here. Quite a bullish candle. We've got some resistance here at the pitchfork. SLC is close at 141.25. We're 5 pips away. And 14065 and sideways. Remember, the risk calculation was risk on, so that's bullish for indices, and because that's bullish for indices, it's bearish for the dollar. So we have to remember the fundamentals. NU, this is one of our signals, or should I say notifications. It's going well. 71.60, and one below is 71.09. So yeah, it's a good one. There's monthly support one at 71.47, so you know that could be a stop potentially. Monthly pivots up here, so ideally we'd want it above. I wouldn't touch it until it's above. We can see how you know, we've got some resistance here. Actually quite spooky, that was, it nearly hit it. So I don't know if we'll come up to monthly pivot, but it could be good for like a good scalp, like a short-term trade. It's likely this is going to go pretty haywire, I think, tomorrow. Like anything, any one of these pairs, probably going to wobble quite a lot. Technically bearish, and we've got that resistance, but we've got monthly support one, so it's a bit tricky. I think we'll get the SLC, to be honest. Euro yen, very, very sharp and acute angle on that CD leg, A, B, C, D. So it's quite tricky to say what's going on. It could be a stop hunt, and we're very skewed from the MyFX book. We are a buy, and they shorted it, so you know they sold it, so we came up. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on your ratios. SLC is 133.60, on below is 132.45. There's monthly pivot, so we are a buy technically, and we've got some bearish ABCD on the hourly. Pound yen. It's like I was saying about on the public chat about pound. Logically, it should fall. If you look at Twitter, and people are calling, you know, the pound USD to fall, and you know, you got enough people, you know, big names on Twitter. I'm not going to mention any names, but they're calling for pound USD to fall. But of course, they didn't realize that they're influencing, you know, the mindset of everyone who reads that tweet. They're going to go, oh, he knows what he's talking about, and then they sell it, but they have no idea about the retail sentiment. So it's definitely a good idea to get the indicators. It gives you such an advantage over your peers, and even those well-known analysts on Twitter. It just goes to show they don't really know what's going to happen, and no one really knows, but at least this gives you a fairly decent indication. And we knew it was going to be a buy, like I said, and you know, we had the British harmonic, and we came up to get the stops. So you know, it's exactly how I forecast. As I see above is 155.51. Oh, there it is, and 155.15 dollar yen. Try and sit through these. There's a lot to talk about. 110.35 and 109.99. So 110. There's resistance at 110.10 with a bearish ABCD. So this is the opposite of the euro yen. The euro yen went up, very acute. This is definitely more obtuse. So this doesn't tell me it's necessarily a stop hunt, but EJ could be. It's very acute, that angle. And now we've got pitchfork support at 109.85 dollar CAD. Monthly pivot is 121.40. And just so you know, I've deactivated this because it was on off a lot. So just so you know, we won't get any more notifications for this until next week. And there's monthly pivots out. You'd want it above in order to buy, but sentimentally, we're a sell. One below is close, 121.20, 12 pips away. The one above is very close, 121.56, so 23 pips away. Quickly try and zip through these. 90.10 and 89.20. Bearish Gartley, there's a monthly pivot, and we're a sell, but they're shorting it over time. And if they continue, we can come up. And so that's that. Bitcoin is now got a new pitchfork. We've broken the shift channel, which that's awesome. And resistance in the median line at 40,653, and it looks like it's going to do pretty well. The bearish harmonic will invalidate at 42,389. Oops, 42,209. Once it breaks this, we'll have a bullish harmonic, and then we can potentially fly. And we have some resistance up there, 55,791. So that's great. That's good news. Yeah, so hopefully the video wasn't too long, and we'll see what FOMC says, what that comes about the result, what they're going to say. There's talk about tapering and things like that, so it's going to be a big move for tomorrow. So just trade safely and you should be fine. And I'll speak to you soon.